goodies.
I want to introduce myself. My name is Scott Swanson. I'm the Executive Director here at the Boise YMCA and Boise City Aquatics Center. And I'm here with David Duro, CEO, our former Mayor Brett Coles, and Doug Holloway, Directors of Park and Recreation. I'm going to turn it over to these guys because this is what everybody really wants to see, but just about a month and a half or 2 months ago, I was walking on this deck doing my regular daily rounds and happened to glance over at the wall down here and saw the date of November 8th, 2020 and realized that is in like literally a month and a half. So I reached out quickly to David and to our marketing team and said, we've got to pull something together for this historic event. And we were able to, and Brent and Doug, thank you both so much for being a part of this. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to David Duro, our CEO, and we are going to unveil these items.
Great, thank you, Scott, and welcome everyone. What a day to celebrate 25 years of service to this community. And how exciting to be able to look into the past and see what was on our mind at that time. You know, this Y City partnership has been the catalyst for partnerships in our community and from across the country. We have had dozens of calls over the years, including one last week, from communities saying, how did you do it? How did you put together a facility that has a world-class Boise City Aquatic Center and a wonderful YMCA to serve the community? And we always share everything that we have, but you know what really makes that work is people with vision and commitment and the ability to compromise to bring a facility like this together. This has been an incredible ride, an incredible journey, and wonderful service to our community. So before I turn over to Doug from the city, I wanted to just talk about how that came together and a little bit about the city's desire to really serve all populations through a great aquatic center like this, and the wise ambition to be out changing people's lives in a positive way, from womb to tomb, as we describe it, right? Every age group, every ability, every person being welcome at the Y. This would not have happened without former Mayor Coles and his vision, and working together with the Y, Jim Everett, our past CEO, Pam Parker, who unfortunately is not with us, not here on earth with us anymore, and Billy Berlusconi. Those three white people working with city staff made this a reality. So I do want to take a second and say, this facility, the ground that we're on today, it could not have been possible without Tom and Mary Tomlinson and David Turnbull, who made this ground available to us, the Y and the city and the school and the park all here together. They made that initial donation that gave us this opportunity to build a great YMCA. And so we had land, but we needed money, and we needed a partnership. And so the city was right there every step of the way, helping to visualize and imagine this facility. And then we had to go out and raise a lot more money to build the Y side, right, the part that the Y owns. And so just wanted to shout out to our chairs of that campaign, Gary Michael, who was the CEO of Albertsons Corporation at the time, and Ray Smellick from HP. And together, those guys went out with Jim and Pam and tapped people on the shoulder, showed them the vision, captured their imagination, and raised about $13.5 million to build this entire facility, including the city's contribution. And just as a sneak peek into the time capsule, this is the footprints and blueprints newsletter that was included. It shows some of the construction of the Y that was happening. And in here is a list of hundreds of other donors who participated, along with HP, Albertsons, the city, Joe and Catherine Albertson Foundation, all coming together to build a great facility. So with that, I've got a couple more time capsule items that I want to talk about, but I want to turn it over to Doug to talk about the perspective from the city side.
Great, thank you, Dave. So just a quick little piece of trivia here. I actually was here, I'm not that old, okay? First I want to say that, but I actually was here when we put all this stuff together, but I wasn't here as a city employee. I actually was here as a member of the Boise Parks and Recreation Commission, a position I was appointed to at the time by this character here, who thought that I would be a good addition to that commission, and then former Mayor Coles, look what's happened. I actually became director at that point of the department. So thank you.
Made a good choice.
You did. Thank you for the appointment way back then. And to prove that, we do have an activity guide from 1995 fall edition. So if you don't believe me, if you open up the first page of this, I'm listed there with all the other commissioners as well as the mayor, a letter from the mayor. And if you've seen our latest editions, they look a little bit different than this now, so we have moved into the 21st century when it comes to how we promote our programs and activities. But I want to point out something Dave said, that he made the comment that even just last week he's heard from another Y. He hears from Ys across the country of how we pulled this off. I hear from other cities. I think a couple years ago we met with Ogden, Utah here at the Aquatics Center to talk about how this relationship gets built. And the biggest word I would use, the most important piece to this, is trust. You know, the YMCA has great trust in the community. The city of Boise has great trust in the community. But more than anything, we have trust with each other. Dave just isn't a colleague of mine, he's actually a good friend. And he knows that the agreement we have in place here has a legal ramification to it, but we don't even look at that agreement. It's just a handshake deal, and we work together to make this successful because it's part of the community now. It's not just a Y, it's not just a city thing. The Boise City Aquatics Center is really the fabric of our community. For a big reason, I know Win-Win went out of vote to say that a long time ago, but this is really, in the vision of Mayor Coles and the City Council at that time, is a win-win and still is today, because we needed an indoor public facility. So this is indoor public, so anyone can come to this facility without being a member of Y, pay your fee, and actually use the facility. And so we don't have anything like that in the city. And so the vision of the administration at that time saw the need that we needed this not only for the city of Boise and for the Y, but for our community as a whole. So it's been a great relationship, it continues to be so, and we're just thrilled that 25 years later we're able to open up and kind of get a glimpse of what things looked like back then. So anyway, thank you all for giving us the opportunity to be here to speak. I really appreciate that. And I think former Mayor Brian Coles may have a few things to say.
Let's bring Win-Win back.
Well, that was the term at the time. Doug, thank you. David, thank you. Scott, thanks for putting this together. There's some backstories, right? There's some wonderful backstories I'll just touch on a little bit, because the principles of bringing the city and the YMCA together are quite amazing. Paula Forney was, I believe, on the board of the YMCA at the time. She's also a city council member. Her kids were swimming at the Y, and we'd see each other at these swim meets. And part of that backstory is my wife Julie and our 5 children. And further back is my own parents who raised me in Idaho and said, "Son, you're going to learn to swim because the canal is over there, and the reservoir's over there, and the lake's over there, and the river's right there. And you're going to learn to swim." So early in the mornings in the summers, I ended up at the pool learning to swim. Julie and I agreed that our 5 children growing up in Idaho needed to learn to swim. And I remember as a young person reading the stories and seeing at least one young person every summer somewhere in Idaho would pass away because they couldn't swim, and a family would lose a child.
So the opportunity to be mayor and with the city council, I had the opportunity to give speeches, and one of those was a State of the City speech, and I stood up and boldly said, we're going to have an enclosed indoor Olympic-sized swimming pool in Boise, Idaho. And I was really stretched when I said it and wondered how we didn't have the plan to do it, other than we as a city were in that right time and right place. So I made that speech. Of course, in the audience is Jim Everett, Gary Michael, and Ray Spellick. And they had this plan already in their mind, but didn't know that the mayor and council were thinking the same thing. That very day, I got that phone call. They were sitting, the three of them were sitting in my office and said, Mayor, we're already planning an Olympic-sized swimming pool in West Boise. We got the land. We're getting ready to raise money. How do we do this together? So here was the principle. I looked at them and said, we have the capital to build that pool. What we don't have is ongoing tax dollars to maintain the pool. That's an expense. We need someone to take over. They said, we can do that. This is a public pool. The YMCA takes care of it. That's part of that agreement you're talking about. And that principle and that trust that you've all spoken of created a document, and a city council, and in Point California, who's the leader of the council at the time, brought the funds together, the YMCA together, and the leadership of those raising the funds to build this beautiful West YMCA, Boise City Aquatics Center. And our dream and our goal and our hope was, as David said, the young people would be able to come here and swim, learn to swim, and our other dream and our hope was that we would have an Olympic swimmer come out of this pool one day, and we've had some really great swimmers and great times, and we hope that still is accomplished in our future. So I'm grateful for that opportunity that we had to work together, and it's those principles, and other cities and other communities are fighting to figure out how to trust each other and how to bring that agreement together. And they could do it, but they just had the will. So, again, thank you for the opportunity to be here today and give you a little bit of that backstory.
How fun to recount the memories and the starting of this facility. And I do want to say, as we look around, this facility is awesome. We've got another 25 years plus of service to this community. This will live on for generations. And it all started here 25 years ago. But I did want to say, as we look at this facility, it was just such a community effort. I mean, everyone came together to make this happen. And our architect, Pastor Marcel Rudin, David Rudin, is here with us today. I mean, this design and this facility, it wasn't just a project. It was a passion, a labor of love. They spent countless hours in design and thinking about it when they went to bed at night, when they got up in the morning, about how this could really work. Being one of the first in the country. And so, really, Pastor Marcel Rudin and David, thank you for the care and your heart that I know was in this facility, and in our construction company too. Ray Hooley and the CM company really went above and beyond in their care that they took, and really became part of the city and the YMCA family during the entire construction period. So as we look around, and several of you have commented, man, this place looks great. It doesn't look 25 years old. And that's because of that great design, the great build, and the partnership that we have in taking care of it. Inside these walls, wonderful things have happened. Really, every Boise State home, swimming, and diving meet has been held in this facility. Our swim team that has produced great athletes that have gone off to colleges and competitions across the country have been produced in this pool. But more importantly, we have produced great human beings off of that swim team. So it's great that you're a fast swimmer, and we want you to be a good human being, and that's what we strive for. We bring all kinds of people here to teach them to swim. And we estimate that we've taught in this facility around 35,000 kids to swim. And that's countless lives saved because of that effort. Master swimming, stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking. In fact, the mayor, he told the story of going off the 3-meter high dive in his kayak at the grand opening. Remember that, Julie?
I remember.
Yes. And so the things that happen inside of this facility really build the community. And I'm proud to say that in 25 years, not one person has ever been turned away due to the inability to pay. And in the next 25 years, that same thing's going to happen. We don't care here at the Y and the city facility how much money you have, where you came from, what your background is. We're going to make it possible for you to participate and grow as a person inside of these walls. So again, just some of the fruits of what we've been able to put together have been amazing. And I can't wait for the next 25 years. How fun to recount the memories and the starting of this facility. And I do want to say, as we look around, this facility is awesome. We've got another 25 years plus of service to this community. This will live on for generations. And it all started here 25 years ago. But I did want to say, as we look at this facility, it was just such a community effort here. I mean, everyone came together to make this happen. And our architect, Pastor Larson Rudin, David Rudin, is here with us today. I mean, this design and this facility, it wasn't just a project. You know, it was a passion, a labor of love. They spent countless hours in design and thinking about it when they went to bed at night, when they got up in the morning about how this could really work. You know, being one of the first in the country. And so, really, Pastor Larson Rudin and David, thank you for the care and your heart that I know was in this facility. And then our construction company, too. Ray Hoovie and the CM company really went above and beyond in their care that they took and really became part of the city and the YMCA family during the entire construction period. So as we look around, and several of you have commented, man, this place looks great. It doesn't look 25 years old. And that's because of that great design, the great build, and the partnership that we have in taking care of it. Inside these walls, wonderful things have happened. You know, really, every Boise State home, swimming, and diving meet has been held in this facility. Our swim team that has produced great athletes that have gone off to colleges and competitions across the country have been produced in this pool. But more importantly, we have produced great human beings off of that swim team. So it's great that you're a fast swimmer, and we want you to be a good human being, and that's what we strive for. We bring all kinds of people here to teach them to swim. And we estimate that we've taught in this facility around 35,000 kids to swim. And that's countless lives saved because of that effort. Master swimming, stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking. In fact, the mayor, he told the story of going off the 3-meter high dive in his kayak at the grand opening. Remember that, Julie?
I remember.
Yes. And so the things that happen inside of this facility really build the community. And I'm proud to say that in 25 years, not one person has ever been turned away due to the inability to pay. And in the next 25 years, that same thing's going to happen. We don't care here at the Y and the city facility how much money you have, where you came from, what your background is. We're going to make it possible for you to participate and grow as a person inside of these walls. So again, just some of the fruits of what we've been able to put together have been amazing. And I can't wait for the next 25 years.
All right, thank you. So, dear Boise citizens of the year 2020, what a year. Who couldn't predict this year, could we? I placed several items inside this capsule today to commemorate the new West Family YMCA and Boise City Aquatics Center. This facility is one of our proudest achievements. The need for our business and civic leaders to give something back to the community has blossomed in 1995. This building represents unprecedented cooperation among local government officials, corporate officers, philanthropists, and a legion of volunteers. Moreover, this partnership has been a chance to show that private, public, and the nonprofit sectors can work together to provide the best and most cost-effective services for the citizens of our community. I know that the spirit will still be alive and well in the year 2020. Before you as a facility focused on families and more specifically children, the West Family YMCA and Boise Aquatics Center became a reality because Boise leaders wanted to give children a place to experience the joy of using all their physical and mental capabilities. Not only will they and their families have a place to swim, but they will also find a climbing wall, youth programming, volunteer opportunities. I hope you will find the year 2020 a decrease in youth crime and drug abuse as a result of making more decisions that support our youth and their future. Finally, I hope to be with you as you open this time capsule. However, if for some reason I'm not, please select items of significance for your year, place them inside the time capsule, and seal them for the next 25 years. Brent Cole's Mayor. Today was a great day for Boise, and it still is. Thank you.
So from KIVI Channel 6, our prediction for the big story of November 8th, 2020. New president elected on platform of getting rid of national debt. Elvis is actually alive and working as a blackjack dealer in Jackpot, Nevada. These brave words from Brink Chipman, news director, and Ross Mason, managing editor. So we got a lot of national debt, and Elvis is not alive, but there's a thought that counts, right, Steve?
Right.
So from KTVV Channel 7, headlines for the year 2025. Number one, a comprehensive plan has been proposed for the city of Boise. After much discussion, city leaders have offered a plan they feel developers can live with. Number two, for the first time in many years, growth in Boise has slowed. Number three, Boise Mayor Brent Coles will seek another term in office, saying he might get the senior vote this time around. Number four, 80 county officials will be seeking a bond election to expand the jail. And number five, a series of public hearings are planned to discuss transportation plans for the Treasure Valley. So some of those are
Yeah, they're pretty good.
pretty close.
Right on the money.
This is a letter, we had a number of letters from students from Centennial High School right down the road, another great partner with the West Ada School District. And I won't read the whole letter, but I thought there was a couple of paragraphs or sentences that were especially important to read. It says, there are many hopes for what the year 2020 might be like. It is already obvious that computers are important in our lives. Computers are used in work, communication, school, enjoyment, and in many other ways of learning. In the future, computers are thought to be used in education by teaching through programs and having homeschool studies. A lot of that happening in 2020. Computers will be used in surgery and shopping. Some breakthroughs that will be important in the cure for diseases such as AIDS and cancers are hoped to come by the year 2020. And wouldn't it be great if we could knock out AIDS, cancer, and the coronavirus all before the end of the year? It would be great. It is also thought that there will be women and non-Caucasian presidents by the year 2020. So I thought that nailed it. Even though there are hopes for the future, there are also fears. Home studies might not be as nice as they sound. Some questions that might be asked about home studies are, will we learn as much using home studies? Will we learn more? Will it really benefit our world? And so, we had no idea, this student, Kim Henninger, had no idea that 2020 was really going to be that year of home studies. And aren't those questions just right on about, it's not as easy as we thought it was going to be. What is the effective, how not effective is it? But this one was really good.
As satellite dishes, consumers can just sit at home and watch any event they want to live. The nuclear waste issue is no longer debated. Idaho has become the permanent waste dump for the entire nation. The National Nuclear Repository has made its home in the Idaho desert. People no longer work there, only program robots. Education has moved from the classroom to computers and teleconferencing. Teachers teach through cameras directly into students' homes. Growth is no longer a problem, even though Boise's population is now at 2 million. People are just building up and up instead of outward. Traffic isn't a problem because everyone is driving sky cars.
Oh.
Sincerely, Mike Holder.
And I think, talking about win-win, I'm serious about that. Let's bring win-win back in the boat. Because it's going to take us all working together to build the communities where we want to work, play, grow, and thrive. Thank you. Scott, you guys, thank you for coming 25 years.